Hey, everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs, where you get your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge. And we had another loss. Montreal loses to Tampa 5-3 in a very sloppy, uh, poor passing, uh, bad start for Jake Allen. Monty was good when he came in. Just a very sloppy game again for Montreal. Being sloppy defensively, sloppy up front. Um, and then it was too little too late at the end, and they weren't able to catch up. So, I mean, they gave it a good go, 5-3. They came back with 3 goals when it was down 4-1. So, I would have liked to see a better effort or better skills. Like the skills were really off. And I'm wondering here, I'm noticing with and don't mean to blame everything on this guy on Armia, but Armia looks like he's back to being the lazy Armia, and I wonder if that's somehow it's just dragging them down a little bit, you know. The Armia might be looking at another trip down to Laval. I don't know. All right, let's see who's here. I have the post game numbers, so we'll go over that in a minute. But we'll see who's here first. Well, we got 5 people in here. Hey, Guru, how's it going, man? Yeah, no compete. I don't know about no compete through the whole game, but I mean, the compete level wasn't great, and I found it just more sloppy, and no passing was horrible. And again, right, another loss to a team on a back-to-back game. This shouldn't be happening. Should have been a tighter game. I agree. It should have been a tighter game. They showed some compete in the third, just like I said, a little, too late kind of thing. Yeah, first period for Allen, it was a disaster. Once Monty came in, though, I mean, he settled it down. He didn't give up a goal till the end there. Is this Talking Heads channel? Yeah, it's Talking Heads. That's what it says there. Talking Heads. Talking Habs. Very different. Hey, Bobs. Welcome back. J Fed. Montreal came out, looked flat all night. I don't know about all night. I don't know about that, but I mean, yeah, I mean, flat's the way you could look at it. They definitely came out in the first flat. You know, again, I just think sloppy defensively, which they were definitely against St. Louis as well. And passing was just non existent. Right? So, Bob's your uncle. I think you're right. Tampa was also very motivated, losing a 4-1 lead to Toronto the night before. Devo sure didn't look flat. I mean, you know, Devo. I don't know. Like, I'm not calling it flat. What they were, they just sloppy and bad passing really led to most of their problems tonight. No, Devo, listen, he's on his second game back, I think. You know, he's starting to find his game already. Suzuki can sure be lazy sometimes, then you don't know Suzuki's game. I would not classify Nick Suzuki as a lazy hockey player. I really wouldn't. Caulfield now was maybe made him look lazy. Caulfield was buzzing around, but he's been doing that most games. Caulfield, he was really buzzing around tonight and doing some really good things out there. I don't think that means Suzuki was lazy though. All right, let's look at the numbers. So as you look at the numbers, they outshot us. It was 32-25. But listen, we were better in the faceoff circle, so that's something. 52.6% for us, 47.4 for them. They were 2 for 5 on the power play. We had 1 for 6. A lot of penalty minutes for them. 21 penalty minutes, 19 for us. We out-hit them 19-13, and they outblocked us 17-5, but it counted on the scoreboard. First period, Kucherov leads it off 22 seconds in from Hagel and Point. 7 minutes later, Nick Paul makes it 2-0 from Stamkos and Hedman. Barry Boulay, just like just a little under 2 minutes later from Hagel and Sergachev. And then Esamont from Hedman and Karnak, and that is or Chernak, excuse me, 13:50. So just 4 minutes later, a little 4.5 minutes later, 4-0. It chases Jake Allen, and Monty comes in. That kind of stops the scoring, and second period there's no scoring, so Montreal still couldn't get anything until 6:50 into the third. Nick Suzuki gets the first Habs goal on a power play. Pizzetta follows that up just like less than a minute later, 4-2. And then that's where it stops. Nick Paul with just a 2 minutes 20 seconds left in the game, it's in the game. Makes it 5-2, and then Dvorak with 19 seconds left with a beautiful shot. Like, that was a wicked shot into the far corner, and from Harrison Barron, and that's it. 5-3, a little too late for Montreal. They put on the Jets a bit at the end there, but I mean, just not enough. Stars of the game: Kucherov gets the first star with a goal and an assist. Barry Boulay with a goal, and that's it, a goal, gets the second star. And Montembeault gets the third star. So anybody who said he sucks, well, Monty came in, stopped the scoring and played well, made some really nice saves, and I thought it was a good game for Monty. So there you go. That's the game in a nutshell right there. And we end up with another loss. We played Detroit in Detroit on Thursday. Then there's back-to-back games on the weekend here in Montreal. We got Boston and a very, very hot Vancouver team. There's a good chance we don't win a game this week. And, right now we're 0-4 in the last, 0-3-1 in their last 4 games. So could be a problem. So I hope at least get a couple of them to overtime. I think if they get games to overtime, their chance of winning the game goes up because they've got the guys that can really play well in overtime. But they got to get there at very least. Monty's inconsistent, but he played well tonight. His last game wasn't his best. I'll give you that. The one before that, he was pretty fantastic against Vegas. It was a shootout loss. He was pretty fantastic, and he made some fantastic saves here. You want to call that inconsistent? Okay, but I mean, Monty's still young, still in his his third full season. I want to see him get better at that. Like have more. I agree with you to some extent. But I think he's been pretty good this year so far, as was Allen till tonight. So I just think it's a bump in the road there. And no, I don't think the Habs players helped Allen out too much either in that opening 4 goals. J-Fed, if he's good enough, one day it will be. But yes, Matt Tompkins, his first NHL win. And I've said this many times. You need a goal. Your power play sucks. Your goalie needs a win. Play Montreal. It's going to be fine. And that's still happening a bit. Bob's, out of the 2 games, I don't think this was his best completely, but I think the whole team was kind of off. I'm not going to blame Slav here. I think Slav gets, say, at least 5-game look here on the first line before you move him. That I got to say. And then if it's not good, then I try him with Monahan. Then if that doesn't get him like really going, then maybe it's a trip to Laval then. But I don't think we're done. And listen, the team wasn't great. I'm not blaming this on Slav. Number 3, none of our goalies are consistent. That is very true because, I mean, Allen's really should be a backup. Monty trying to get the starter's job. Maybe he's not fully there yet. So, but yeah. But I think in general, Montreal's goalies have been good this year. So that's a little progress, and that's still a young season. Bob's, what I said was third full season. I didn't say that only 3 seasons. Third full season. So there. But yeah, he's 27. But listen, 27 for a goalie, he's just at the beginning of his prime, right? So 27 for a goalie is not bad. That's in the new NHL. The prime is kind of different. Talked about it in the podcast, by the way, and Cam kind of pointed that out to me. I know this. I should have been more on the ball on that in the pod, but yeah, there's an adjustment there now, depending on position too, where your prime is considered to start. With forwards, it's earlier. It's like 25 now. With defensemen, I do believe it is, I want to say maybe 30, 28 to 30, somewhere in there with defensemen, because they can go longer. Defensemen seem to go longer at the end of their prime. And goalies, it's the same thing. It's later because they go longer. So all depends on the position. No, that's not. No, you have it wrong. Prime does not mean you're at your best. Prime is your prime years where you should be at your best, right? So if you're, as you grow, you should be hitting your prime at whatever age that is. I got to sneeze. Hang on. That came on all of a sudden. Sorry about that. Yeah, your prime isn't that. Oh, he's look how great he's playing. He's in his prime. That's not what it is. Yeah, goalies can go till their late 40s and be pretty good. Defensemen usually, close to that. But forwards, they're finding a forward starts to decline at 30. That's how that's looked at. Where I think a defenseman's decline is seen at about 35, 36, and a goalie around the same thing. That's a generalization, remember. Yeah, Bob's. I think Slav plays the left side when on that line, and Caulfield is on the right. I noticed that the first game. I don't know if they were doing that this, and at some point, he had juggled the lines. Marty, I saw Anderson back on the first line for a few shifts, and Slav back. I guess with wherever Andy was. I don't know. He was playing. I forget who he was playing with. So it wasn't. He was juggling the lines a little bit. I think anyway. That's what I saw. Monty is either he's on the cusp of the starter's job or he won't get there, but he's right. Like this year is the big test. So we'll see. The thing I'm happy about though, he had a really good game, had a bad game, came in here to fill in, and he was good. So it's not like the consistency is a little bit better, right? So he's not having 3-4 bad games, then a couple. You know what I mean? So his consistency is getting better. At least that's how I see it. I don't know. You might not agree, but so we'll see. I mean, I'd like to see Monty. I'd like to see him win the job. He can hold down the fort possibly till Fowler gets here or Dobish first, maybe. I don't know. We'll see who does that. And Monty might, if he can reach that consistency, because we've seen he can be really good. Monty has the potential to be really good, right? We've seen some really good games from him, some awesome games from him. So can he be consistent at that? If not, no. He's either a 1A, 1B type guy or he's a backup. But I don't think the decision is out on him yet. Not in my opinion. Leafs got a 40-year-old defenseman playing with them on the roster. Who's that? That Giordano, isn't he old? After Monty took over, the Habs outscored them 3-1. Very true. And like I said, Monty shut the door, long enough for them to be able to get some goals, right? Monty's doing his job, and that's a starter's job, right? Play well enough, keep your team in the game long enough to win. I think Monty's doing the job, and it's not a knock on Allen or anything. I'm not talking about Allen, but Monty's doing what he's supposed to. I just like to see that every game, and then the odd game, every goalie has a bad game here or there. We'll see if he can do that. Goaltending definitely our Achilles heel, says number 3. If he doesn't show signs of being able to be Price's successor this year, it ain't going to be him. Sure as hell isn't looking like Primo will be either. To say Price's successor, is that the case anymore? I mean, it's 2 years. Price hasn't been able to play. He's not going to be playing again. I guess in a way, right? But has he not shown anything? I don't know if that's the case. I think Monty's shown something. That's why they're giving him the shot. Monty is like Budai at best? No, that's not fair. That's really not fair at all. No. And listen, you know what? Peter Budai, not a bad backup goalie when he was here. So I don't know if you want to make fun, but Monty's not. He's not. He's better than Budai. You might not see it, but I mean, the Habs see the potential that he could be a starter. So let's see. I mean, we're what, 11, 12 games in? Let the season play out for that. He's got a whole year to audition for it. What they're doing with Primo, I have no idea. You got to figure Primo's got to get a start sometime soon. How is this good for his development? I cannot see that. So instead of ruining the kid, find somewhere to move him to. I assume they're trying to figure out how to get him down to Laval without losing him. But who's picking him up? Like, who's really going to be picking up Primo? At least not without him playing some more games. The logic behind Primo's deal was, I think they signed him to an extra year, hopefully to avoid teams wanting to pick him up through the waiver wire, I think. But is he signed? I think Primo, isn't he? Is he not an RFA? An RFA at the end of the season. Let's see. I'll go on to Cap Friendly and take a look. Let's see. Where's Primo? Nope, you're right. He's got 2 years left on his deal. But I do believe that was to discourage for when they got, he was going to have to start being waived. But I don't think the Oilers needing a goalie necessarily means it's one of the Habs goalies. Unless Montreal's willing to move Monty or Allen, which they might be. I don't know. Depending on the offer coming, right? Or Primo, but I don't know where the interest would be. I'm assuming any interest in a Habs goalie, it's not Primo. It would be Monty or Allen. So the case is, are they available for the right price? This could be at this point, right? This could be that they're available at the right price and they get the right offer. Yeah, they're moving a goalie. I don't know. I think it leaves them a hole in the organization, right? So I don't think they're gonna be moving a goalie. I think their goalie dilemma here is really, how do we get Primo to Laval? without having to waive him or without losing him to waivers, I should say. So to me, that's what it is, the dilemma. To me, Bob's Allen's got to be the guy they're looking at. If they're looking at a Habs goalie, it's got to be Allen. Do they have? I mean, he's making 3.85, I think. It's not big money, but do they have the budget? I don't know where they're at. So that's something. And then it matters like who's coming back if we make a deal. It's not going to be Draisaitl. So, Guru, if that's the case, how is it Allen? And, it would be Monty or Primo. That's when Primo or Monty makes sense for them because they don't have the budget. But is now Monty's probably better than what's there now. Is Primo better than Campbell or Skinner, right? Is he? I don't know. Like, so if you're doing that to get a guy that's not as good as what you got there, why are you doing that? Now, Monty's a different story. Stuff guy, I didn't know you were here in the post game. Thanks. Hey, I appreciate it, and I appreciate as always having you there and singing my song. So I always appreciate that. Number 3, I think so. I think right now until Primo can show something more, then I'd take Skinner over Primo probably, and probably Campbell too. But I mean, their numbers are not good. Their numbers, both goalies in like 1.863 goals against and the other 8 something goals against, like not good numbers there. But hey, listen, they signed Campbell. That's why I say I think the GM over there, Ken Holland, probably has to go along with the coach. Because Ken Holland signed Campbell, didn't he? Ken Holland signed, what's his name? The Toronto guy there. They signed him 5 years, decent money. I don't think that's paying a Hyman. I don't think is it Hyman or someone else? It's also Holland that brought in Evander Kane. I don't know if that's going well. Well, number 3, look up the number to the Oilers. Give them a call. Maybe they should look for David Ayers. But, man, Ayers must be like mid-40s now, so I don't think that's happening. I mean, Campbell, when you say was pretty good with the Leafs, I mean, he was not in the big games, though, really, right? So I think it was kind of the same problem, similar problem there. I don't know. And maybe this is just not a good fit there. But I don't want to end up with Campbell. Besides, anyways, he's getting like $5 million. I don't see the Habs getting Campbell in return at $5 million. Does anybody? Because Campbell just signed a deal, right? He's on the second year of a 5-year deal, I think. So I don't see that happening. Right. And then if Edmonton picks up Allen, they gotta move a goalie. Like, I don't know what Skinner's making, but I know what Campbell's making. So they gotta move some money out. So I don't know. Is there anybody on Edmonton that's worth getting? I don't know everybody there, and I know who we can't get. But is there anybody that might be worth getting for Allen? Anybody? Well, I could just go look up their roster and see. I've got Cap Friendly here. Let's look up Edmonton. They should be near the top. They don't have money, right? And then I can't find Edmonton. There they are. What kind of money do they have? Shit, they have no money. They have no money. Who could we get? Hyman at $5.5 million. Nope. And signed for another 5 or 4 after this. Nugent Hopkins signed long term. I doubt that's available. Don't think we want it. Dylan Holloway, but it's not enough money going the other way. Defense. They got to move somebody like Evan Bouchard or Cody Ceci. I'd rather have Bouchard than Cody Ceci. But the money's similar enough to Allen. But you know what? Even Evan Bouchard, then they can make the deal. It's the same money practically than Allen. Like there's not much difference. They got $377,000 left. They can't. It won't work with just Cody Ceci. We can get Brett Kulak back. Where am I? No, well, do we have goaltending problems? I mean, we're searching for the next guy. I mean, it's been so long with Price that we haven't had to think about that. But yeah, would I trade Allen for Nugent Hopkins? No, Nugent Hopkins is signed for way too long. He is. He didn't he just sign like an 8-year deal or a 7-year deal, and he is 30. No, I don't want. And it's at 5. You know what? The $5 million over the next few years isn't going to look that bad, but he's got a long-term deal. There's no way that's a valuable contract. Is that contract's going to look bad? You got to figure halfway through it. So no. Nuge can't play goal now. Not going to trade Ryan Nugent Hopkins. He had over 100 points last year. Well, there you go. And he signed long term. And if he's scoring 100 points and he's getting $5 million, that's value. So maybe, yeah, if we can get him, but they're not going to move him then. Jack guy loses fight tonight. I know the first fight, he fell backwards. It was clear he fell. He didn't get. He wasn't overpowered. Lost his footing. So I say no. Brown, who's that? Connor Brown? Yeah. Not for Allen. And again, it wouldn't move enough salary away for them to do it. Hey, Harry Rice, good to see you out there. Monty had an incredible game in relief of Allen. Yes. Hope this isn't the downfall for Jake that we were all expecting. I'm not going to say that, Jake's been fine the last few games. I don't think this is I'm going to say that about after one game like this. Do I think anyone is kicking tires on Habs goalies? Apparently they are, but I don't know for sure. Even Tampa is doing it out until Vazzy, but riding it out. But listen, Vazzy's back soon, so I don't think Tampa is interested now. Right? Vazzy's supposed to be back in the next 2 weeks, from what I heard. A little slightly early. But even if it's just the amount of time they said, it's almost there. So, and he's apparently, he's well on the way back. So, Harry, I fully agree with you. I think he made some really incredible stops. So yeah, I might not say incredible, but I don't think it's that far off. I thought he played really well. He was kind of incredible against Vegas. He just had a bad game in between that. So I think Monty is maybe not at the consistency fully that we want, but I mean, we're just at the beginning of the season. Let's see where he's at by the end of the year, right? We want to see that progress through the season. And I think we might see it. Harry, yeah, I think Johansson has been. People were making fun of that when Vazzy, it was announced, but he's been good. His numbers are good. Tompkins had a good game against us, but his numbers haven't been good. But Vazzy will be back very soon, so I think they're fine. Hey, Adam, how you doing, man? No worries. Always good to see you, buddy. Always good. We're not well. Hey, listen, if you're curious, we did in our podcast, which is the links in the description. We talk about your team a good bit. What's wrong there? It might be from a little bit of a biased standpoint, but I thought we had a good conversation about the Leafs. You might be interested in watching that, or no, not watching, listening. It's audio this week. Harry, that's a good point, right? Monty's probably at least, if he's not as good, it's not that much difference, I don't think, and he's making a lot less. So trading Monty over to Edmonton to get Campbell in return, if that was the case, that doesn't make any sense. And I don't, where the Habs are and everything, I don't think they're willing to go backward by trading one of their goalies and then going backward unless they feel, okay, we'll get a really good shot at that first pick. If that's where they're looking at, okay, but do you not dig yourself a hole for afterward on your goaltending side? Because if they get rid of Allen or Monty, is Primo ready to fill in? And if not, who else is? I don't think, so I don't think so. If they get an offer that you can't refuse, maybe they do move one of the goalies. But it would have to be an offer like that, I think, Bob's. Don't you think? I mean, it would have to be, something pretty impressive. Oh, was that guy that in that 10-2 game? Really? Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, but I mean, he was just a kid that was playing way over his head, and he was only in there. There was a reason why he was in there, and it wasn't because of the way he was playing that year. And he was young. So if that's the case, well, goalies do mature. Yeah, we talk about, you'll see, we talk about those guys, and we talk about that. I don't think we got hateful. Maybe slightly I might have on some, but I don't think we got hateful about it, and I thought it was a good conversation about it. Dan, hey Dan, good to see you, man. Been a while. Good to see you. Welcome back in. Do I think the Habs will make the playoffs this year? No, I do not. And it's not because of how they're playing now. That I haven't changed my mind on that since the off season. If we were to get Campbell, not only the combo with Monty Primo, but in 3 years, in that last year with what if Fowler and or Dobish or even Quentin Miller are ready for the NHL, you'd be too stuck. Yeah, and besides, you're not getting. He's not an upgrade. He's more expensive. He's not your guy for the future. Why? And he's an ex-Leaf. Why are you getting him? Why would they want to do that? Adam is obviously just he's chirping us, and that's okay. Habs have a bright future in 10 years. They might make the playoffs. No, they'll be there before that. And yeah, you would know, right? And he says you don't want Campbell. Trust me, we don't want Campbell. Are the Habs playing better than last year? I think that they are. Are they more consistent than last year? Probably a little bit more consistent. And that's what it should be, right? I think they're going to be a little bit better than last year. I don't think a ton. I don't think they make playoffs. But I kind of think that they might finish out of the bottom 10, but they also might not. I think if they don't, I don't think they're going to finish as low as 5, but they might be near the top of that bottom 10. But that could happen. But I mean, if you don't see that there's some improvement and progress in their play, I mean, I don't know. I do. Are they on a downswing? They're on, seasons are like that, up and down. I think they could have a 7-game losing streak here. They're already on a 4. I don't think it gets any easier against Detroit or Boston. And if Vancouver is really this hot team, that could be bad. But Montreal usually plays good against Vancouver, so we'll see. But this could be a 6 or 7-game losing streak coming up here, or we're in the midst of. Habs won more playoff series in one season than the Leafs in 20 years, Adam, says Guru. We like to remind you of that every time. I'm surprised Anderson only has 1 point. Does he even have 1 point? I thought he had none. Because the guy torches us every day. Yeah, he's a Leafs killer. Every time it seems like he scores 30 a year. He doesn't, and he's a streaky guy. He started the season on the bad side of that. Bob's your uncle. I think you're right. He says the next 8 games will have a huge impact on the Habs season. They face several very good teams and could lose all or most of those next 8 games. And I think you're right. I really do. So a good test for their character, a good test to see if they could just stay with these teams and maybe eke out, a couple overtime games or some, some points there and a win or 2 along the way. You never know. From what I understand, Detroit's been playing well. I'm getting that from other people. That's Matt. And I haven't seen much of Detroit. So if I'm wrong, maybe that's good. And then on Thursday, might be able to get a win out of here somewhere. That would be really nice. I agree. I think with Boston, and it's kind of home and home Saturday, 2 Saturdays in a row. And that second Saturday game ends like a really kind of tough stretch for Montreal. So we'll kind of see how they're going to do. What's the Habs' biggest weakness? I want to say it's the amount of young, our youth. I really think that's what it is. Our youth, there's a lot of still learning for these guys. And, it's probably what it is. But, that kind of goes away every season, right? And all through the season as they gain more experience. What's their strength? I think overall their talent up front. It's not 100% showing right now. I would also say the pipeline coming up. There's some really good players coming up. Aiken, but you are always so negative that when you say things like that, I kind of just shrug that off. But I mean, if that's the case, you're probably right. I mean, listen, it's a 4-game streak already. So yeah. But I mean, isn't Detroit? I thought Detroit was doing well. I guess I was wrong. Oh, Harry, good point. I guess Anderson right now has not been great. Armia looking like he's not interested again. I don't know if that's just me. Armia looks like he came up, had a few good, say two good games, and then started to drop off again. Armia looks like he's ready for another stint down in Laval. Decor is good, but like I was saying about young and gonna make mistakes, but as long as they learn from it. That tank when does the tanking stop, right, Harry? It becomes a losing culture, and that's never gonna be good. So yeah. I see it on Twitter all the time too. Dan, can I see the Habs making the playoffs in 3 years? I'm going to say absolutely, and I think this year not. I don't think next year either, but it's after that. I think they could probably make the playoffs by that time. I don't know how well they'll do yet by then, but yeah, 2 or 3 years. I think I think pretty much for sure. Excuse me. Laval can keep Armia. I agree. I mean, look at the game today. To me, I noticed that he's looking lazy again. I find I don't know how else to put it. Red Wings third in their division. Okay, I thought they were doing better than that, but still they're third in their division. That's our division. Tanking doesn't work in general, right? You tank, yeah, you may end up with a good pick and all that, but you can't keep doing that over and over and over and over and over again. At some point, you can't do it anymore, or your players just get used to losing. You never want players to be okay about losing. Never. That's not a good culture to have around. Harry, it's like the grass is not always greener on the other side of the fence. And if you keep going, but you're just going to go back and forth and back, and you're never going to have anything. We're always going to be chasing that player, chasing that, and it never stops. At some point, you put together some good, talented kids. You got good, talented kids in the pipeline. You develop them, and then if you get the other picks, you get them. But I mean, tanking, you can do for a season or two. I don't think it's good beyond that because your players get used to losing. Stu Cowan says Anderson was Montreal's best player tonight. He was good, but he could still no finish. Armia's PK play will keep him in the lineup. It's the only part of his game that's any good at all, but I don't know. To me, again, he just looked just disinterested. I don't know, lazy. I didn't like what I'm seeing. So give it a few more games, and we're gonna have that Armia back that they sent down. Losing culture will develop? No, losing cultures don't develop. No, you're wrong, Aiken. Losing cultures end up having to be changed, which means the guys that you can get in now that are just losing, now you're back again, looking for draft picks, trying to change these guys, and it never, ever ends. I mean, we've been through it for 30 years pretty much. It's what's going on here till this new management. Yeah, exactly, Harry. Yeah, you're right about the Sharks. I know their GM got really mad at them. But, I mean, you put together this shitty team. What did you expect? Sharks up 1-0, 5 minutes into the game against Philly. Well, they got their one goal that they sometimes get in a game. Yeah, Alex, who's part of the podcast, he's a Flyers fan, and he was so sure the Sharks are going to come in there and beat his Flyers for their first win of the season. Bob's the owner, the management, that's who tanks. The coach and the team, the players should not be part of that. You just put out a team that sucks and they can't win, and that's how you tank. But you still want those guys trying, and you don't want them accepting losing all the time. But when you strip a team like San Jose did, they stripped their team to bare bones. What do you expect's going to happen? They're going to lose. How far do I think we are from competing? I guess you mean competing for a playoff spot. 2 years. This one and next one, and then I think we're ready. Winning cups, that's probably more along the lines of 4. I think if Fowler can get here in 3 years, I think you give him a year to adjust I think then you're starting to compete for you're starting to be a contender. If everything works out with him and all that, that's what I'm saying. Matthews has more goals than the Sharks, but Matthews, with his 11 goals, at last I heard, 9 of them in 3 games with hat tricks. And you can say, well, he got hat tricks, but I mean, that means he got 2 goals in the other 8 games, and that's, not great from your main guy. Plus, you got like 50% of your goals coming from 4 guys. That's not sustainable. Cole is showing more. And you know what else? The physical side of his game, believe it or not. But yeah, he's showing more, getting involved in that kind of play. And yeah, so he's adjusting to that. How did I hear it put? Playing that type of a game more and then popping out. That's the word I think I use. Popping out for the offense. But he's been all over the ice and a lot of energy, and Cole's been good. The goals haven't been coming, but they will. You wanted to go for Ghislain. You wanted to pick the Quebec player to get that first goal. He's got 13 goals now. Yeah, good for him. Hey, Randy, welcome in. As I just about to leave. It's actually I went way longer than I was gonna go. So I'm only another minute here. I want to remind everybody the podcast link is in the description. That's the one that just released today. So please check that out. While you're there, please give us a follow and fill out the poll, answer the question. I'd really appreciate that. I'll be back on Thursday. Thursday, we're in Detroit. Saturday, they're in Boston is here, and Sunday, Vancouver is here. So the dreaded back-to-back games on the weekend. So look for that. And geez, I don't know about videos. We're working on so many things right now. So I'm trying to get videos out, but we got the games. Hey, Adam, have a good night, man. Thanks for being around, and thanks for taking the jives, the chirping. I appreciate that. Yeah, so that's it. So everybody have a great night. Appreciate y'all being here for the game and for this. And yeah, have a good rest of the night. Till next time, stay safe out there. Peace out. Keep your stick on the ice. Go Habs, go. And just have a good night. Ciao, everybody. See you soon.